Obviously, there's reason for concern. Quarterback play has not been good. Offensive line has not been good. Wide receivers need to get open. We understand that. But injuries play a big part of that. You know, the shuffling of the line plays a part of that. But at the end of the day, the Aggies are better, and Kyle Field is an advantage. And another week of Jimbo working with Zach is an advantage. And potentially the return of Layden Robinson to the line brings back an advantage. And we begin that here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We call it the Go Hour, and the man who goes, goes, goes. Olin Buchanan, our Heisman Trophy voter, good friend. Good morning to you, OB.
Well, I'm worried about Mississippi State because, they're not without talent. They're not playing particularly well, but neither is A&M. And if A&M was playing well, I would probably share that opinion. But see, I still believe A&M is more talented across the board than Arkansas.
Yeah.
But
that was a veteran-laced team, came out with a vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
Their Super Bowl, and I'm not making excuses. They were better than then. And I know some people were upset with Chris Landry yesterday. People love him too, but for saying that if they played that game 3 or 4 times, he thinks Arkansas wins 3 or 4 times. And I'm going to ask this during the fan show, but I'll ask you. Do you think we were making too much of it being a game in the fourth quarter? And the reason I say that is because the narrative of the game had changed, the flow of the game had changed, and if it wasn't for a linebacker putting his nose in the wrong area, maybe Isaiah Spiller doesn't go for that huge touchdown, and we're talking about a different game.
No, because I think that A&M won a lot of games in the fourth quarter last year.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. And if we say, well, it's no big deal that it was a touchdown game in the fourth quarter, actually in the third quarter, then we could go back to last year and start clicking off games. Really wasn't that big a deal.
Right.
That they were behind Florida. Or that they came back in the fourth quarter. I mean, you play, as you know, all 60 minutes, and the fourth quarter means I'll take 20 points in the fourth quarter even if I give up 17 in the first. I think the narrative of the game was changing. A&M had the momentum. Football is a lot of times a game about momentum. A&M had the momentum. You just had to maybe execute some basic plays. You can't hit your center in the head with a pass, right?
Right.
If you don't, maybe you get a big play there. I think Isaiah Spiller is the type of guy that's just waiting to make a big play, and he just showed that all you have to do is block it right one time and he can go.
Make one mistake on the defensive side, block it right, he's off.
Right. So, no, I mean, and I don't necessarily believe that if you played that game 4 times, Arkansas would win 4 times, because to me, the biggest difference in that game was the intensity level that A&M, that Arkansas played with and A&M didn't early, and that Arkansas outcoached A&M.
Yeah, at least to start the game, because I think there were some, at least defensively, there were some really good adjustments there after the first 16 minutes. But for a minute, and we said this about Arkansas last week, and it did not go as planned. But for a minute, A&M has a better roster than Mississippi State. They just need some semblance of an offense, and I think they will be fine. It's still a big if because we haven't seen it. And I, from that perspective, being an Aggie, I always worry before a game, just the way I roll. But also the offense is absolutely concerning. Has to be for everybody. There's nobody who can't watch this team and say, "Oh no, they're having problems at every level of the offense." So from that for that reason, I am concerned. I think the defense is going to do very well against a Mississippi State team that throws for a lot of yards, but isn't scoring a lot of points.
Not like a Mike Leach team typically does,
right?
But they're average about 28. I think they've scored at least 24 in every game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they score 20 points, under their average, 20 points, do you bet the farm that A&M is going to score 21?
Right now, I haven't seen that. No, but I do. I was going to talk about it yesterday. I'll bring it up today. Layden Robinson, to me, could be the X factor in this game because stability on the line goes a long, long way. And I know this line has had some problems, but I think getting him back there, getting guys as normal of a position as they can on that offensive line is going to create a little more space. And I just need some space for Isaiah and A-Chain to do just a little bit because we know how good they are.
Well, I will agree that when you have one of your starting linemen back, that can only be beneficial, and then you don't have to keep taking your best lineman and moving him all around and compromising his effectiveness. So, yeah, Layden Robinson coming back, I think, is a big difference. But, again, you've got an erratic quarterback. You got receivers who are having trouble getting open, finding separation, running backs that are having trouble finding openings. Now, do I think A&M will win? Yeah, I think they're going to be able to pull it out. But unlike your friend, I'm not going to say I'm not worried about it because I think I'm worried about any team on A&M's schedule that can score.
So then I'll ask you this question. It's a two-part question. We'd say the offense is below average.
Yes.
Yep. If they get to an average offense, do they win the games that they're supposed to win?
I think so, as long as their defense plays to its ability.
Right.
Because the defense, I think we all agree, has to carry the team.
So do we think that they can get to average at Kyle Field against Mississippi State? Whatever average is, can they score 20-plus points on Mississippi State? Maybe you get a special teams touchdown. Maybe you get a defensive touchdown. But can they get 24-plus points?
I have to believe they can because Louisiana Tech, I know it was the opener, but Louisiana Tech had 34. LSU's not a dynamic offense. They had 28. Now their defense helped them out with some of that. I'm trying to think who else scored against Mississippi State. I can't think of it right now. I think somebody had 31. Memphis. Now, again, their special teams helped them out, and the officials might have helped them out with some of that. But despite A&M's issues, I have to believe their offense is at least comparable to Louisiana Tech.
Let's hope. Goodness gracious. All right, so here is the topic of the day. Where does A&M have the advantages over Mississippi State? Can't believe I'm asking that, but right now it's TBD, and we'll go through that here on the program. If you want to text the show, you can on the A&B text line. A&B, a good College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank, good Texas banking. The website, amb.com. That number, 979-693-1150. Or you can call the BCSI hotline at 979-693-1150. And with that, we go to the News and Social Center. Good morning to Tori Esprovoa.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all guys doing today?
We're doing good. You're in a good mood. I feel like the mood in the office today, not great. You, happy. I appreciate that.
It's Friday Eve. What is there to not be happy about?
That A&M lost this past weekend. I'm still upset about it.
And we have a game in 3 days.
Why are we whispering?
I'm just kind of making a call.
So, moving on.
Yeah, let's get into some headlines. Texas A&M women's tennis prepares for the opening act of its 2021-2022 schedule this weekend as the Maroon and White prepare to take on the HEB Invitational at the Herd Tennis Center Thursday, today through Sunday. And then also the reigning Southeastern Conference regular season champion Texas A&M women's basketball team will be featured in 12 nationally televised games during their 2021 and 2022 season. And then I want to enter this text from Matt in San Antonio saying, we have better overall talent on the roster and the better coaching staff. We also have home field advantage. The A&M players will never come out and publicly say that they need this win because they know Alabama is after this game, and falling to an 0-3 hole in the SEC play cannot happen.
It cannot happen. And can you also read the text message that just came in from JM and CS, because I want OB and I to kind of chew on it for a little bit.
Yeah. JM College Station saying, we need to remember that winning in the fourth quarter is predicted on the offense and offensive line, wearing down defenses with the running game for 3 quarters.
Yeah, so his point predicated on the offensive line wearing them down. I think that does absolutely play a part in it. But at the end of the day, if you're good at winning in the fourth quarter, you're good at winning in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it means that, not just about wearing teams down, but being able to execute in the fourth quarter. You're used to being in that position. You know that, you know what it takes to win in the fourth quarter. Is anybody telling me that when it was 17-10 and A&M had the ball, that you were just saying, well, we haven't run the ball well all game, even though Spiller just ran off for 67 yards. So I'm giving up. I'm turning off the TV. I'm leaving because it's over. There's no way A&M's going to come back.
Also, I was listening to Andrew Monaco yesterday. He was having his show, and he was quoting what a coach had told him, not an A&M coach, just at a previous stop. And there is no ugly win. A win is beautiful no matter how you do it, right? And had A&M come away and snuck in and not thrown that interception and somehow won that game, we would feel a lot better about where we are right now because you survived. But I guess the issues are still there, though. Regardless, this team is at the bottom of the pack running the ball, and they should be higher than that. The offense has just been atrocious. They've got to fix that because we know what's ahead on the schedule.
That's right. And even what I think is the weakest team left on the schedule other than Prairie View. So the weakest conference team, in my opinion, is South Carolina. And South Carolina, as weak as they are, their strength, the one area where they're really good, where they got NFL players, is the defensive line.
But if you can't run on a bad defensive front, you can't run on a good defensive front. So it is what it is, right? Like if you're rushing three people and stopping the A&M run, then it doesn't matter if you're taking on a good one. It almost negates itself. Let's quickly go here. Actually, you know what? Let's hold it for the next segment because I know we need to do the our Heisman Watch brought to you by Shirtlift Law Firm. Let's do that. We'll also kind of go through where A&M has some of its advantages and break it all down. You're listening to TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Become a Facebook friend and get even more. More of the zone. More of the zone. Like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. 1150.
Howdy, I'm Hunter Shirtliff of the Shirtliff Law Firm. You've likely never thought about needing a personal injury lawyer. I understand why my clients that have suffered a severe injury tell me the process is difficult. Dealing with recovery, medical bills, lost time at work, and insurance adjusters is just too much. Insurance companies employ a huge staff of adjusters and attorneys to work against you. My goal is to let my clients get better and let me deal with recovering the medical costs and working with the adjusters and attorneys. I want to keep helping our community and delivering justice for those who need it most. For a free consultation, go to bcsattorney.com.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Pioneer Steel, Gulf States Toyota, and Amarillo National Bank. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Howdy, it's me, the Roofer Girl, Rainy Night, Class of 90. Aggieland Roofing is proud to promote Breast Cancer Awareness Month by donating a portion of every roof sold in the month of October to Pink Alliance, Brazos Valley's very own breast health and support advocate. Join us by supporting our local women and urge every woman to get a mammogram. If your roof needs are large or small, commercial or residential, make the official roofer of Texas A&M your roofer. Thank you for your support. Shop local, shop license, and call me, the Roofer Girl, at Aggieland Roofing.
Hi, this is Jeff Vanderwood with Veribank. Veribank is continuing to grow in the Brazos Valley with a brand new full-service banking center on Highway 6 in front of Academy. We have a team of genuine bankers specializing in personal and business banking, wealth management, and investor real estate lending ready to serve you. Veribank is here to help you succeed financially, and you can bank on it.
Visit Verabank.com today. That's VERA Bank.com. Verabank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Max Kellerman.
I think Joe Burrow's done a terrific job since his time as a starting quarterback. He's young, he's learning, he has a little bit of experience, but not enough experience to win that division. Jamar Chase was the right pick for them and what they want to do in the passing game. The only problem that I have is, can you keep Joe Burrow upright and not on his back throwing the football to a guy that they targeted the entire time?
Yeah, protection is key, but I also think that the mental reassurance after seeing Joe Burrow get hit a couple of times, after seeing him make some people miss. I don't think everyday people who haven't gone through injury understand how dynamic that can make you feel when you start to trust your body again. There's a certain level, like when you get hurt, Like, you don't trust yourself at the same level, but when you start doing things like that, you start to believe in your own ability, and that can unleash different opportunities.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
TexAgs Radio here on a Thursday morning, the last day of September. How about that? We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We're so pumped about our live show coming up next Friday. Rollo Insurance's grand opening of their new building there Friday, October the 8th. Great stuff going on for an even better cause. Rollo Insurance would like to use that moment to give back to the Down Syndrome Association of the Brazos Valley, DSABV, which means so much to this community. They're an extremely worthy organization. They serve the extraordinary lives of people touched by Down syndrome here in the Brazos Valley. So anybody who knows somebody with Down syndrome knows what a gift that they are to this world. We're asking for all of you guys to step up, be big, guys, and make some small donations to DSABV in the name of a person who has blessed you. It takes about 30 seconds, dsabv.org/Rollo 2021. Make sure that your gift gets matched. And that's right, they're matching every gift, no matter what you do out there, guys. So make sure that you do that. And a reminder on the fun, we're going to be doing the show 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., on-site entry to win. You've got the music from Jackson Schlossnagel and the band Nomadic. We've got walk-up lunch from Taco Boss. That food truck's going to be there, 10:30 to 12:30. Meet and greet with Coach Schlossnagel, also 11 to 11:30. The ribbon cutting at 11:30 as well. And a lot of prizes. You could potentially win the Yeti Tundra Hall wheeled cooler, $250 gift card, and the Glock 19. You must be 21 and a Texas resident and legally eligible to obtain a firearm. So go check it out. Have a good time with us next Friday. All right, OB. Time to do a little Heisman watch, brought to you by the Shirtlift Law Firm. Shirtlift Law Firm, delivering justice for those who need it most. Let's get right into it, my man. Where do you want to start?
We'll start number 5, even though he hasn't played anybody of that I think is of really significance. Desmond Ridder, the Cincinnati quarterback. But basically, I think it's already a 2-guy race.
Yeah.
And everybody else is trying to become a viable candidate. And I think Desmond Ridder has a chance to become a viable candidate this week because he's playing Notre Dame. Like it or not, whatever you do against Notre Dame holds some cachet. So, but so far, he's passed for just 748 yards and 7 touchdowns, rushed for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns. But if he has a big game against Notre Dame, I think his profile will be significantly boosted, and he'll become a candidate, a serious candidate.
Number 4.
I've got Kenneth Walker, the Michigan State running back. I think I had him 3rd last week. But he only had 61 yards on 19 carries against Nebraska. But he still leads the nation in rushing with 554 yards. He's averaging 7.3 yards a carry. He scored 5 touchdowns.
If I remember correctly, Nebraska did not give up a first down in the second half of that game. They actually made it a game. As bad as they've been, defense has been pretty good there. Number 3.
Why not KJ Jefferson of Arkansas? I mean, he only completed 7 passes against A&M.
They were big.
But they were 212 yards and touchdowns at 85 and 48. Kind of reminded me of Reggie McNeil against Oklahoma. He also rushed for 50 yards. So far, he's 844 yards passing with 6 touchdowns, 230 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. And, really, who else out there is a whole lot better than that?
Well, the next 2 are probably the 2.
The 2 guys that I think it's going to come down to already. Matt Corral did not play last week. The Rebs were open as they prepare for Alabama. But, 1,006 passing yards and 9 touchdowns. He's rushed for 58 yards and 5 touchdowns. And
NFL prospect right there, first-round potential.
And everybody knows – everybody from A&M knows what if you can lead your team to a win over Alabama, what that can do for your candidacy. We learned that about what, nine years ago?
2012, yes, sir.
And then number 1, Bryce Young, the quarterback of Alabama. I know that was against Southern Miss last week, and that's not a big deal. But if you're a candidate, you should really exploit those weaker teams. He completed 20 of 22 passes for 313 yards and 5 touchdowns. It's kind of like Bill Walton going 21 of 22 against Memphis back in the championship game back in about 73 or something like that. Anyway, Young is now passed for 1,125 yards and 15 touchdowns and only 1 interception.
The way it works is if you're undefeated and your quarterback's really good chance you win the Heisman. 15 touchdowns, 1 pick. That is phenomenal for a young freshman quarterback.
It really is. Of course, it's phenomenal for anybody.
Yeah.
So I think this game with Alabama and Ole Miss could go a really long way in determining who wins that Heisman. Still going to have half the season to go. I get that, but talk about taking the lead.
That would go a long, long way. All right, OB. The topic is, where does A&M have a clear advantage? And I'm just going to throw you some things and tell me what you think. Head coach.
I think A&M has an advantage.
I think A&M has an advantage, although on a given day, Mike Leach can bite you.
I think Leach is a good coach.
Yeah.
He's a little bit, like the mad scientist type of thing. But, man, he had Texas Tech #1 in the country. He took Washington State, which was as bad a Power 5 team as you would find, in 3 years, had them contending for the Pac-12 championship. I don't think they ever actually won it. But, he's done some remarkable things in his career.
Now, I know that we both don't study offensive line, but let's just talk O-line. Because I've been reading some of the clippings about what they do out there, and people are questioning their offensive line and their wide receivers just like they have done here at Texas A&M. Who do you give the advantage to?
Who has a better O-line?
O-line, who's got the better wide receivers?
Well, it really doesn't matter, right? It's more of the matchup, the O-line against the D-line.
Yeah.
And
let's go that way, yeah.
And I like A&M's O-line against Mississippi State's D-line because I think that
and you probably like our D-line versus their O-line.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is I think I said it wrong. I like A&M's offensive line's chances of being successful against Mississippi State's defensive line. I like that, despite A&M's problems. I like that more than I like Mississippi State's chances to be successful against A&M's line. I think that's the way I'm trying to say it.
Who's got the better quarterback?
Mississippi State.
Yep. So Will Rogers, who struggled last year.
Yeah, he's a true freshman thrown into action.
He's actually having a pretty nice year if you look at his numbers, but I was reading an article before I came in today. An SI insider from their fan site says he is the worst quarterback with the best stats in the country. Well, my response to that is, at least he has stats.
Well, again, you know what? He did generate 3 touchdowns. I know it was Louisiana Tech, but they were in the fourth quarter, and they were down by 20 points. He generated 3 touchdowns. He's not a great quarterback. I don't want to oversell it.
No.
But
he's got stats, though, and they move the ball a little bit. But this is not Mike Leach 2007 right now.
I think he's the best quarterback in that matchup, but I do believe what really helps A&M is that Will Rogers is a minimum threat to run.
As a team as a whole, they are a minimum threat.
Well, that's because they don't run.
Yeah.
But running quarterbacks have given A&M a lot of trouble.
Well, yeah, running quarterbacks have given A&M this year a lot of trouble, and just running in general in the first half of games has given A&M trouble. I think they're running maybe 17, 18 times a game. They just don't run the ball.
Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Their idea of a run is a short pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes down as a pass, but it's kind of just instead of pitching back, they pitch forward. I think I think that teams that have run inside well against A&M, I have to believe that the threat of the running quarterback has played into that because, the defensive ends can't crash and things like that. I don't think you have to worry about that with Will Rogers.
Yeah. If you want to be a part of the show, you can. You can call the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150. That's where we're going to have Stephen McGee here in the next segment. You can also text the A&B text line. We're asking, where does A&M have the advantage, or advantages, I should say. You can call or text or argue with us. 979-693-1150, the A&B text line. Right now, a moment for my friends at the Association of Former Students. Going to meet up with them next week to have a little meeting, talk about how things are going over there. Always love catching up with the crew out there, Lexi, Randy, Catherine, and Porter. They do such great work out there. And they are leading the association that is the oldest organization serving the A&M network here at Texas A&M. They have done it for over 140 years. Those financial gifts from the Aggie Network have empowered the association to be here, there, and everywhere for Texas A&M and Aggies out there. And I left, when I say I left, I didn't renew. I don't know what year it was, 2012, 2013, 2015, whatever it was. I left for a couple of years, just didn't renew, moved, didn't think about it. And, I missed out. Being a Century Club member is such a great experience, guys, because, A, you get that cool decal, right? You get the Texas Aggie magazine, right? But you also are helping others. And at the end of the day, we're serving other Aggies. And that's so, so important to me. $100 a year, $9 a month. You're going to get all that good stuff right there. To learn more about the impact of the association, get involved or make a gift, visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The Brazos Valley African American Museum announces the 500 Giving Campaign to raise funds for a museum director. Be one of the 500 by going online to bvaam.org. Brazos Valley veterans are invited to a free fly fishing workshop on Saturday. Find more information at goodfly.org. The Bryan High Fine Arts Department presents These Shining Lives. Performances run through Saturday. Purchase tickets online at bryanhightheater.ludus.com. The 38th Annual National Night Out is Tuesday, October 5th. Neighbors are asked to turn on their front porch lights and spend the evening outside with neighbors and law enforcement. Contact your local police station to host a block party. Submit your nonprofit event by email to news@WTAW.com. Your home for Houston Texans football is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. You can hear every game, home, road, all season long, right here on Aggieland's only all-sports station. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
The small Texas town of Llano is where it all began. The Wooten family created Cooper's old-time pit barbecues, mouth-watering recipes, and cowboy-style cooked barbecue. Decades later, you can still get the same great recipes, cooked exactly the same way by the same family, right here in College Station. Dine in, curbside pickup, or catered. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's old-time pit barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M athletics.
There's a Kubota for every job. There's a Kubota for every harvest. There's a Kubota for every task. And at Normandy Tractor, for a limited time only, take the drive to Normandy, Texas, and let Vernon and the boys show you what they have. Get the new Kubota BX 1880 16.6 horsepower tractor and a Kubota loader with a quick attach bucket now through December 31st, 2021. For a cash price of only $12,950 or payments as low as $170 per month. With no money down, based on 0% down, 1.99% APR for 84 months. Normandy Tractor has over 8 acres of Kubota tractors, Kubota RTVs, ATVs, and Kubota mowers to choose from. They're at the corner of Highway 39 and OSR in Normandy, Texas. And remember, nobody beats Normandy Tractor. Nobody.
Now through December 31st, 2021. For warranty terms, see Kubota's limited warranty at KubotaUSA.com or your Kubota dealer.
You can hear every Aggie football game, home, road, national championship, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Game Day on the Zone is brought to you in part by Stephen Gustitis, attorney at law, BCS Allstate agent Jerry Anderson, and Higginbotham Insurance. 30 minutes after every A&M home game, tune in for the Twin Peaks Call-In Show, powered by TexAgs.com.
It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And I want to remind everybody, up to the second, college football is out. It's our weekly show that we go around the world of college football. Yes, A&M is included, but we try to get perspectives from all the big games out there, especially in the SEC. Up to the second, SEC spelled big letters, just in case you didn't know. We're having fun doing that show. Check it out. It is on the boards and also on our YouTube page. And I'm on the YouTube page, and I'm just feeling like this fog that we're all in. Everybody's kind of grumpy, and I get it. Let's see if Stephen McGee, who's on the BCSI hotline, is grumpy as well. Stephen, good morning to you, my friend.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
I see that smile. Look at that smile. My God.
Hey, after my last week, I'm just happy to be alive. It was my wife and I, bless her heart, she's a rock star, but I was freaking out last week. I thought I was gonna had a month to live and this whole deal, and so I can promise you this. I'm just it's a day by day approach for me now. I'm just thankful for each breath. It's I know last week was rough, but we'll have plenty more opportunities.
Yeah, man. So, and by the way, Paragon Financial making Stephen here available to us as we appreciate him on the program. So, Stephen, let's chit-chat a little bit about what you saw last weekend, because to me, there are a lot of issues. Chris Landry came on the show and told us, yeah, Zach Calzado's holding on to the ball a little bit too long, but that's partially because receivers aren't getting open, the line isn't blocking long enough. What was your perspective from a quarterback's point of view?
Yeah, I'm not taking any of the onus off Zach. Quarterback is the most important position of all of sports for a reason. He touches the ball every play. He's got to get the team in and out of the huddle. He's got to get in all the right checks. There's no doubt about that. And Zach's got to play better. He's got to play more decisive. He's got to let the dang thing rip, right? That's the strength of his game. I think he's playing a little bit tentative, a little bit scared to turn the football over right now. And, unfortunately, I don't think they're able to use his legs. I know he's not Haynes King mobile, but he can still move around. I don't think he's able to as much because they don't feel confident in the next guy, right? And so I think you got to protect the quarterback in the run game a little bit as a play caller. So all those things factor in, and then you get into a situation where you're playing a scrappy team. In Arkansas, they have a 3-man front. They're dropping 8 into coverage. They're playing a coverage called 3 double cloud quite a bit, which is a nightmare for a quarterback to find completions against. You have a wide receiver group that struggles to get open. You have very few opportunities versus single high man. So they did bring them in the game. They bring 5, play single high man. That's the opportunity to throw the football. And you have guys outside running a fade route that can't get off the line of scrimmage. That is a nightmare. I'm not saying that Zach played well. I'm just saying that there's a lot of things outside of just Zach. There's 10 other guys that got to help him out. Offensive line protection, we know. It doesn't need any more negativity around it. It's bad right now. They got to figure something out. I don't know. They're going to probably play musical chairs for quite a bit to come. 28 and 6 have been solid, but unfortunately not enough creases there to run the ball consistently, right? It's hard as a play caller on 2nd and 12 or 3rd and 15 to call another run, because on a probability basis, you're not going to get a first down if you do that. And so those are challenges for a young quarterback. You're in predictable passing situations against a 3-man front that's getting home. They're dropping 8 into coverage, and they're clouding both corners. There's no easy throw on the field. There's no 3-step drop, take the hitch throw, get 5 yards. That doesn't exist in that scenario. It's tough. And I'm not sure the answer right now.
If you were in that situation, what plays would you want to run?
I would lean heavily on 28, and unfortunately, I'm not sure you could do that. So then you're kind of forced into the pass game, and you're saying, well, man, I would love to find 85, right? The old security blanket for the quarterback. And I don't know what y'all's take is, but he hasn't been the same player this year, and I'm sure it could be quarterback related a little bit. I think we probably took for granted how good of a player Kellen it really is. He's a 3rd-round pick for a reason, but I don't see the same spark out of him, the same energy. And I'd love to see little quick game. Get the easy 5-yard, get the sticks moving. I love bubble screens, but I feel like our screen passes take so long to develop right now, right? We tried those a couple of times. We got -5 yards. Thinking nice, missed the block on one. I don't know. It just seems like every yard is difficult right now, and I think it's because you got a lot of new faces that they're trying to figure it out.
Is it fixable, Stephen?
Oh, 100% it's fixable. You get some good enough athletes all in the same huddle together and get pissed off enough, they're going to figure out a way to move the football. I think the offensive line thing is probably the part that's most concerning, is because they're just so young, right? At center, you see a lot of mismatches there consistently throughout the game, off the edge. And I think even Kenyon Green, and it may be a factor of the fact that he's played 3-4 different positions already this year. but he's not lived up, in my opinion, to his potential. And so there's some type of consistency, just at least getting a hat on a hat 50% of the time, but give 28 enough room to do his thing. I think you have a chance. But when you're playing behind the chains, Dave, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be tough sledding.
Stephen, I'm sure you never had to deal with this frame of mind. But as a quarterback, Zach Calzada knows he hasn't played particularly well. On top of that, he's at a place at A&M now. Social media is ripping on him. Mm-hmm. People are talking about it. He's probably hearing it on campus, what a bad quarterback he is. Not that you ever went through that, but how do you deal with that and keep from and how do you and how do you deal with that and keep all that pressure from just beating you down?
See, Dave, right there. That's a very subtle. That is a kind Olin. That what he really wanted to say is, Stephen, you're the last quarterback I can think of that went through this exact scenario.
No.
Yes. Let me provide. I think.
How do you get around getting your car keyed?
Oh. Exactly, my car key. Quarterback. Everyone wants their kid to sign up and play the position, because when things go good, you get way too much praise, you get way too much credit. But these are the moments that you have to remind everybody, when things go bad, you get way too much of the blame. And Zach's getting to experience that, probably a little bit unfairly so to this level. Has he played well? No. But I'll never forget Jason Garrett telling us that the difference between good football players and great players is on that level, the NFL level. They're more mentally tough. They have the ability to show up every day, do their job, be the same person, no matter what's going on around them, no matter how good they played, no matter what the last play was. They're able to put that behind them and just focus on the task at hand and be the same guy. Like the huddle never experiences a different personality from Zach Calzada. I had a terrible game last week, but that guy is the same one you're going to get today. And I think that breeds success. There's something about that consistency to the approach and the ability to block out all the negativity that can either make or break an athlete. And so you'll find out a lot about the kid's DNA, good, bad, or indifferent. It's not easy, OB, because 2 weeks ago, there was this really good looking girl in his class that had her eye on him. And this week, she's not paying attention to him anymore. And that's part of playing the quarterback position. You gotta be able to handle the heat.
Steven, let's do some buy, sell, and lease. Where do you want to start with who are you buying this week?
Can I buy Matt Stafford with the Rams? Hey, does this guy have something going or what? I'm so happy for him. One of the most talented guys in the league, finally getting a good team around him. But I'll buy 28. I'll buy number 6. I'm not giving up on this Aggie run game. These two guys, it's not just on the play calling. It's got to be on this offensive line. We've got to give them enough. We got to give our play caller enough confidence to be able to run the football consistently throughout the game.
OB?
I am buying Isaiah Spiller because if everybody played as hard and did their job as well, we wouldn't be in this funk right now. Isaiah Spiller is going out and giving everything he's got, and he's producing. He saved them against Colorado. He gave them hope against Arkansas. He's playing great football. He's on pace for another 1,000-yard season with that offensive line issues. I'm just think that he's going to find ways to make plays.
I'm going to buy, and not just because I met his father, but Antonio Johnson, the nickelback. Every week I feel like he's lighting up, leads the team in all the stats that matter, solo tackles, total tackles, pass deflections. He's been everywhere. The guy's a beast, and he's just really coming along as one of the stars of that defense. All right, so let's go
to that.
Yes, sir. Let's go to sell. Who are you selling? Or what are you selling?
I'm not selling anybody this week. These are the opportunities. I love buying when everyone else is scared. There's fear in the streets. Move the chips on the table. I'm hoping for the best with this group of guys. They are not lacking of talent on both sides of the football. You have enough critics. You get pissed off just enough. That locker room starts to gel. You figure out, hey, I've got to get better. when the best player on your team has the biggest chip on his shoulder, that's when good things happen. I'm hoping that last week that team was some group of guys that just stole a bunch of jerseys from the real football team that we have. I'm not selling anybody this week. I don't think this is the week to sell. I'm optimistic against Mississippi State. We're going to find something new.
I'm selling this idea that you have to only take what the defense gives you. When the defense knows you're going to just run or throw short, they're overplaying it. And I think the A&M is going to see every team now, if they can, rush 3 and drop 8 and just try to keep everybody in front of you and think that you can't do anything about it. And I'm selling that idea. I'm selling the idea that you just have to do what the defense is dictating you do. I'm saying take some deep shots, and even if it means trying to get somebody in one-on-one coverage and just throwing it, and if it's not complete, that's okay. I saw what Arkansas did to get a one-on-one matchup, and it turned to an 85-yard touchdown. I think A&M needs to try to do some things like that with Demond Demas, Caleb Chapman, whoever's out there.
All right, I'm selling slow starts. Goodness, can we stop starting the game slowly and playing from behind? Let's play with a lead, especially in these Power 5 games, be able to run the ball. Stop starting slow. Did I speak that correctly? Did I say that correctly?
All right. Well. You're a professional.
You know what I mean by that, though. Just don't start so slow, please. All right, Stephen.
Yep.
What are we leasing?
Yeah, I'm going to lease this defensive line this week. I would expect A&M to do something a little bit different like they did last year against Mississippi State, potentially come out in a 3-man front, drop 8, similar to what Arkansas did, which means you have less guys up front to get home, but you still got to get pressure on that Rodgers quarterback. He's gonna throw it into some tight windows. But I do know this: a quarterback is not near as effective when there's guys around his feet or he feels pressure. It is true at the very highest level, at the best of all time. We've seen it true with Tom Brady. So if this 3-man front can get home, or potentially a 3-man front gets home or gets pressure consistently, it's going to make a long day for their quarterback.
I'm leasing Tyreek Chappell. Like what I've seen from him, but he's just a freshman, and if any offense is going to challenge you as an experienced or an inexperienced cornerback, it's going to be Mike Leach's Mississippi State offense. So I'm not ready to buy completely and say, yeah, man, this guy is going to be the answer at that other cornerback spot opposite Jalen Jones. But so far, I like what I've seen. I think he got a bogus pass interference call on him last week. I think he's played well, and so I'm leasing him.
All right, so I'm leasing something that I have no reason to lease, but I'm leasing low. All right, I'm hoping that it turns out into something. I'm leasing the offensive line because Layden Robinson's coming back this week, and I am hoping, I am praying, and I think possibly some semblance of continuity on that offensive line, having guys in their somewhat normal positions could bode well against Mississippi State. So I'm going to lease that offensive line in hopes that it turns out to be a winner for Texas A&M. All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with That's Bullcrap with Stephen McGee here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. But right now, I want caller number 1. We're going to give you a free car wash from Aggie Land Express Car Wash in South College Station off of William D. Fitch in Greens Prairie. Aggie owned and operated with the friendliest staff and personal touch. They offer monthly memberships, but we're going to give the first caller a free car wash right now from Aggie Land Express in South College Station, 979-693-1150.
Your home for the Houston Astros is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
The King and Queen invite you to the 47th Texas Renaissance Festival. Open weekends in October and November beginning October 9th. Deliciously enticing food, games of skill and chance, plus the finest actors and musicians in the realm. Join Bud Light in a toast to the Texas Renaissance Festival. Huzzah! And be there for a day of adventure, merriment, magic, and romance. Tickets available now at TexRenFest.com. Opens October 9th.
Aggie football is here, and Texas A&M Transportation Services offers parking and shuttle options. Pay $25 cash to park near Bush Library, Bonfire Memorial, or Agronomy Road. Ride the free Downtown Bryan shuttle. For pre- and post-game traffic and parking info, or to purchase parking before the game, visit Destination Aggieland within the TAMU app, download the Park Mobile app, or visit transport.tamu.edu/football.
For those parking with an annual permit, be ready to show us your permit barcode printed on paper or on your smartphone screen. Follow us on Twitter at GetToAggieGame.
For service you can trust and a job done right the first time, contact Tom Line Plumbing and Irrigation. Whether it's commercial or residential, new construction or service, they have you covered. Tom and Shelby Line have been serving the Brazos Valley for 11 years, and their team of plumbers have more than 40 years of experience. Customer service is their highest priority. Trust your every plumbing need to Tom Line Plumbing and Irrigation. Click TomLynePlumbing.com today.
Maroon U is your ultimate stop for brand name apparel, gifts, and accessories for the entire family. From Columbia, 47 brand, Yeti, Dooney & Burke, and Adidas. We're able to outfit you for every occasion. Visit Maroon U and our family of companies on Holloman Drive in College Station to shop the latest in brand name Aggie merchandise. Shop Maroon U today. Voted best in the Brazos, best gift shop since 2016. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U.
Need help with your high wind or hail damage claims? Call Larry Winkler and the fine folks at United. United Roofing is your local professional family-owned business with over 40 years of service in the Brazos Valley. United is your insurance claims specialist, providing the most comprehensive full system labor and material warranty in the roofing industry. Call United today at 268-ROOF.
At United Roofing and Sheet Metal, we've got you covered inside and out.
On Sports Talk, Chip visits with Chef Scott Conant about how the Food Network has glamorized the restaurant business.
How many kids are growing up wanting to do what you do, but really not understanding how many tears there are along the way?
It's so true. Just a few tears along the way.
Sports Talk, keeping it real, weekdays from 4 to 6 on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We'll get to your text messages there on the A&B text line and, of course, the BCSI hotline, which is where we'll find Stephen McGee here. And it's now time for That Is Bullcrap, presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, consider Tom Line Plumbing. Great friend of Stephen McGee, longtime trusted plumber in and around the Brazos Valley. Check them out at tomlineplumbing.com. Stephen, let's start it off with you. What's Bullcrap?
Thanks to Dalton and Zane in the back. They always help me out on my bull craps, but I'm sure you guys saw this at AT&T Stadium, but $165 parking available with your credit card if you want to park within a mile's distance of AT&T. Jerry's billionaire status, he's got to get the next billion, so he's going to charge high parking fees. But I think mine still is the NBA's persistence from the media's perspective to hone in on these guys that are unvaccinated. Can we just let this thing die? These poor players, I feel like they're, at court and having to testify and defend themselves. It's ridiculous at this point. I really do. I feel bad for them. I'm not trying to say I'm pro or anti or anything else, the other. I just tired of hearing about it, honestly.
OB?
Gary Patterson and his whole reaction to losing to SMU was bullcrap. He got his feelings hurt because they made fun of a country song he wrote called Take a Step Back, and they tweeted out, they took a step back, the SMU fans. Isn't that what college football, big part of it is to just rag on your opponent and things like that? Then he got mad that they were going to try to plant the flag in the field and says his assistant, Jerry Kill, got knocked over. He got knocked over by a TCU player and then said it was all orchestrated and SMU is denying that. I mean, are you making that? Why do you make that big a deal of it? I mean, take your L. You lost. You got your butt kicked by your rival. And the fact that even it's national news, a game between TCU and SMU, for crying out loud, two incredibly insignificant programs on the national scale. But hey, let's make a big deal because they made fun of my country song. Come on, grow a pair, take your L. That's all bullcrap.
That was good. So you know what else is bullcrap? And I think you both will agree with me. Every time people talk about Jimbo bringing up his freaking salary, everything he does, well, the $9 million man's going to have to figure it out. He gets paid $9 million to, with that offensive line, it's really what he's going to. Stop. Come up with something more original. How about a real take and understand the situation? Not everything has to do with his freaking salary. He is one of the best coaches in college football, which is why he has one of the best salaries in college football. End of story. Stop with this freaking salary comments.
Yeah, you know, if Lucci wants to go eat at an expensive restaurant every day, it's no big deal. He has the money to spend.
He can do it.
If I do it, it is a big deal because I don't have the money to spend it. A&M has the money to spend on the coach they want, so they do. So, you know, it's your money. You spend it the way you feel like, you know. I guess you're just haters because you don't have it.
Hey, Steven, we got about a minute left. Let me read this one and see if you can give a quick answer. From Blaze on the YouTube channel says, is fog induced by quarterback play or play calling? I think the concern, insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Yeah, you know, and I think I have some agreements there. I would like to see them be able to do a couple, you know, a little bit something different. You know, I felt like we were a little bit repetitive in that last game. And so, you know, I think the onus is on the entire staff, right? It starts at Jimbo Fisher. I think everybody got beat last week against Arkansas. We got outcoached. We got outplayed at all 11 positions offensively, except maybe running back. I'm not sure I wouldn't take an Arkansas position player over any of our guys. So they all got to get better this week.
Appreciate you, Stephen. Catch up with you next week, my friend.
Yep.
OB?
Absolutely. All right.
See you, man.
Yes,
OB.
sir.
Great job, buddy. Thank you very much. Ryan Swope coming up next here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Park at Tradition's Exceptional Senior Living, First Financial Bank, and Cooper's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. A College Station woman is arrested after refusing to get off a train boxcar in Milliken Tuesday afternoon.
According to the Brazos County Sheriff's Office arrest report, 3 trains stopped during the 3 hours 38-year-old Judy DeLeon was on top of a rail car. 2 deputies climbed on the car and failed to get DeLeon down. Then the College Station Fire Department ladder truck went to the scene and 2 firefighters persuaded her to come down. According to the arrest report, railroad workers saw DeLeon near the train in Bryan before seeing her on top of the boxcar, requiring the train to stop. DeLeon in the Brazos County Jail for the 14th time in the last 7 years and the 4th time in the last 6 months. Bill Oliver, 1620, 94.5 WTAW.
No one was injured during an armed robbery at a Bryan convenience store Tuesday night. Bryan police report one person entered the Valero at College in Carson just after 9 p.m., displayed a gun, and left with an undisclosed amount of money. No suspect description is available. It's been 6 months since the College Station City Council awarded a $646,000 contract affecting Thomas Park. That contract included $50,000 for a consultant to host public meetings. Mayor Carl Mooney says the first meeting has been scheduled.
Yes, I'll be there, and we're going to be taking a look at the amenities that will be added there and also the schedule of installing those amenities.
City officials say the first meeting is the evening of November 9th at City Hall. The current contract involves drainage improvements and sidewalks. The next phase of the contract is the conceptual design of lighting, parking, benches, and shade structures, among other things. This contract does not include a new pool. A Kansas-based livestock biotechnology company with a branch location in the Brazos Valley is giving a multi-million-dollar gift towards a $10 million research facility at Texas A&M. An architect will be selected soon for a facility called the Animal Reproductive Biotechnology Center. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
This is Aaron Dawson.
And I'm Olivia Dawson.
Won't you join the Folds of Honor and Allen Academy by supporting the annual Cadet Golf Classic and Patriot Dinner hosted at Miramont Country Club, Sunday, October 17th through Tuesday, October 19th.
The Cadet Golf Classic is an 18th-hole, four-man scramble designed to raise scholarship funds for the families of fallen and disabled veterans through the Folds of Honor, as well as financially supporting Allen Academy, an independent school in Bryan.
For more info or to register, please visit thecadet.org, and thank you for your support.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hillcommetta Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HillcoSupply.com. 15th ranked Texas A&M football looks to bounce back this week after falling to Arkansas last Saturday. Coach Jimbo Fisher on what it'll take to get back on the winning track.
At the end of practice today, we're pushing and prodding guys, and we started to slide just a little bit, and we're pushing us. And you remember the feeling in the locker room. You want that again. You get to pain of discipline and pain of regret. I mean, you got to train. Winning and doing those things, you can't just say, I'm going to do it. Everybody wants to do it, and they do it. All right, when you're the most tired, when you're the most sore, when you're the most banged, when you're the most mentally wore out, when everything is there, my leg hurts, my knee, doesn't matter. That's what it's got to get to, and we're learning that. I mean, and then you gradually, each team builds all year. I mean, even the great teams I've had, and I say this can be a great team, but those teams that emerged and had successful seasons, they all had. It's a learning curve.
Fisher on his radio show last night. He and the guys will look to get back up on the win wagon this Saturday when they welcome Mississippi State to town. Now, for more insight into the matchup, tune in to the Blue Chee Hour tonight from 6 to 7 right here on The Zone. Aggie women's tennis opens up its fall slate today in Waco as the ladies participate in the HEB Invitational. The event, which also features hosts Baylor, Arizona, Arkansas, Texas, and Tulsa, gets underway today and runs through Sunday. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hillcommetta Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
The best is yet to come in College Station.
Isaiah up the middle, first down and more. 40, 45, 50, now it's a race. 40, 30, to the 20. Isaiah Spiller all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Aggies!
Join us Saturday. The Aggies host Mississippi State. Our coverage begins at 5 on your home for Aggies football, the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie football on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Online at RadioAggieland.com. Or tell your smart speaker to play Sony 1150.
TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. As a reminder, all guests and callers join us on the BCSI hotline, and they're proud to announce their fall LASIK special. Call 979-701-2020 and mention that TexAgs and David Nuno sent you. That's me, by the way. You'll get a free LASIK consult and $400 off of your custom LASIK surgery. So you've been thinking about going to Houston, Austin for LASIK eye surgery. You don't have to anymore with Dr. K. He's bringing it every week. And they are delighted to give you a world-class LASIK eye surgery experience right here in the Brazos Valley. So make sure you call them up, tell them that TexAgs sent you to get that discount without a doubt. And with that, we go to the BCSI hotline. We are joined by Ryan Swope here, who's going to bring it like he always does, getting it down with Ryan Swope. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, guys. How are we doing?
Doing good, man. So, all right, before we get into who got it done, who will get it done, all that good stuff, just bird's eye view, where are you right now with this Texas A&M team here as we sit on a Thursday morning?
Well, I mean, I think that I don't know really where I stand. Obviously, I think as an Aggie fan and we bleed maroon, so when our guys go out there and fight and they lose, there's a sense of disappointment, especially in a I feel like we haven't really collectively put together full-quarter football game, and I don't think we've even really have come close to touching how good we can actually be, and with just from an offensive standpoint and executing and getting some of these playmakers the ball in space. we haven't seen it. So it's hard to sit there and be mad, but it's frustrating that we're not getting it done. And yet again, I will say that was a good football team, but I think that we haven't even seen the best Texas A&M yet. It's tough to watch. I just don't know. Obviously, our quarterback situation is kind of a mess. I just see a very indecisive guy that doesn't really feel comfortable, doesn't trust his ability to step up into the pocket and then process the game on the field and know when to step up and know when to take off. So there's a lot of things that I'm just, I guess, a little frustrated with and wish that we could just execute a little bit better offensively. But I will say that was a really talented team, which I touched on that last week. I think that's a good football team, and they're well coached over there in Arkansas.
Hey, Ryan, so this is difficult, but is there somebody who got it done in your perspective? Is it just Isaiah? Who got it done for A&M?
Yeah, I mean, Spiller, the guy he gets it done week in, week out. So he's just very consistent, and I wish I could sit there and say that about our quarterback or our offensive line or, Jalen Wademeyer. But, I mean, right now, 28 has all the trust in the world. So he's been very, very impressive to watch, and I hope that we feed him the ball 30 times this weekend.
All right, along the same lines, who will get it done this upcoming weekend?
Man, I'm going to go with my gut here because I feel like he's a guy that we expect so much of, and he's, in the past, he's our go-to guy, and that's a Naismith. I think that if you would even ask him yourself, kind of leader he is on that team, I think that he's the kind of guy that's probably frustrated. And I had a similar situation happen to me my senior year where the first 3 games wasn't really involved. But I had to, go up and have a conversation with my with a couple of the coaches up there. And I think we all know how talented Naismith is. And I think he knows how talented he is. Now, I think that we need to figure out, one, how can we get the ball in his hands in space, and 2, it's my time to take over, and I think he's the kind of guy that will emerge this week, and he's frustrated, but he's not letting those frustrations get to his mind mentally. He's going to overcome those, and I think that he'll have a big time game this weekend. I really do.
Ryan Swope on the VCSI hotline. All right, Ryan, who's not going to get it done this weekend? I know we don't go A&M here typically, so who's somebody out there anywhere in college football who's not going to get it done?
Oh, man. Shoot. Trying to think here, man. Give me a couple matchups.
How about Arkansas, Alabama? Arkansas, Georgia. Is Arkansas going to get it done against Alabama? Gosh, goodness. Are they going to get it done against Georgia?
Arkansas versus Georgia?
Yeah.
I'll take Arkansas on that one. That's a good defensive front. Probably one of the better defensive fronts I've seen. Which, they had 3 guys down, and we have 5 guys trying to block them, and we still couldn't figure it out. And now a lot of that is just stepping up in the pocket and trusting those guys. But I'll take Arkansas on that. I'm telling you, I think that Arkansas is a top 5 football team this year. I think they're talented.
All right, Ryan. So we had a scout on, Chris Landry, who said basically it's on everybody offensively. Okay. When I talked to Steven, he did put some of the blame on Calzada, but obviously there's the offensive line and the wide receiver issues. When you see the wide receivers, especially the ones who aren't your typical starters out there, what are you seeing? Why are they not able to get separation? Is it as simple as that? Is it the line? Is it the quarterback? Kind of break that down for me.
I think it's in order for everybody to, I mean, including the receivers, to get the ball in their hands, it all comes down to everybody doing their job. And in order for those receivers to get the ball, I mean, there's a little bit of a process from snapping the ball to, winning your assignment in the trenches up front, to dropping back, whether it's a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop, and then processing the play and then executing. So a lot has to go right in order because a lot of times you don't see it on the TV broadcast, that you'll go back and watch film and be like, "Daggum, Anaya Smith, he got open all night," but nobody would know it just because they don't get to see it. We're not constantly looking at those guys, so I really can't say. I don't feel like we had many opportunities just because we're not trusting and executing up front. It makes it difficult on the receivers and the quarterback to have time to get the rock and take those shots down the field.
How about Zach, when you're watching him, the indecisions, the holding on to the ball so long, what is jumping out when you see how Zach is handling himself back there?
Oh, man. I don't see – I think he's got a big arm. I mean, he throws bullets. I mean, maybe I think he throws them a little too hard. Needs to put a little bit more touch on a couple of these passes. Just because, I mean, he's got a big arm, but I think it's just being able to get comfortable. That's the biggest thing. Is as a receiver, you want to be comfortable with the guy that's getting you the rock in order to build good chemistry with him. Well, he's got to be comfortable with the offense and with what's going on around him, and being able to execute and then know and have trust in his receivers. So it's all got to kind of work through. But I really didn't like what I saw in Calzada. I think he's just I just wish he'd step up in that pocket and whip it, man. I think he just needs to trust it, and he needs to quit. Feel like he's overthinking it. He just needs to go play and, trust his guys, trust his coaches. And I think he just needs to get in the film room and really just get, I think, spending a little bit more extra time on the practice field with your wideouts, something that we always stress, with Tannehill, and we would always stay 15, 20 minutes after practice and just catch 50 more balls, whether it's running a couple more dig routes, because they lost their starting quarterback. So we need to get as many reps as we possibly can with this guy, because he's a little bit new, and we got to start building a chemistry. And that's the best way to do it, is you got to go put in a little bit more extra work with your quarterback, so you guys can build that chemistry and that trust amongst one another.
All right, so what's going to happen this weekend?
I'm glad that I think that these guys, I think they're coached really well. I think Jimbo, sometimes these losses are good now, and it puts a bad taste in your mouth. I said we bounce back, take care of business. I know Jimbo's got these guys ready to go. I know that they, along the way, you're going to deal with some adversity, and it's those losses, those tough losses, that really you almost need to experience them to really move forward and go, man, I hope we never experience that again. How can I be better? How can we collectively be better as a team and put ourselves in a position to execute and be successful? And so sometimes you need to lose in order to win. And I think it was a good wake up call, and that was a good football team too. I mean, it could have gotten out of hand, but we fought hard, and I think that in all honesty, if we can just continue to execute and play hard, maybe tackle a little bit better, we'll be in good shape.
Ryan Swope on the BCSI hotline. Ryan, we appreciate you, my friend. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, guys. Gig 'em.
I love getting Swopey on the show. So good, and just his experience and analysis is always spot on. If you want to be a part of the show, you can text the A&B text line 979-693-1150. Where does A&M have the advantage over Mississippi State. That's kind of been the show topic. But just how are we going to get through this and get that offense going? Really would love to get your thoughts on that because it needs to happen, and it needs to happen in a hurry. I want to remind you guys to text radio to the new number, 833-638-6248. That is 833-638-6248 for your chance to win the Big Friday giveaway, courtesy of our friends at Aggie Land Outfitters. We're going to have that winner unveiled on Friday, and here we go. It is the Texas A&M Champion Power Blend Pocketless Quarter Zip Pullover valued at $69.99. It is beautiful. It's very thick material, but very soft at the same time. Thick and soft, super soft fabric, I should say. It'll keep you warm, and it'll be something that you should be wearing there at Kyle Field as it starts to get a little cooler with the cold fronts coming and whatnot. The maroon lettering across the chest, Aggie's boxed in. It's just a beautiful, beautiful top for sure. And you can get that at Aggie Land Outfitters. When you come into town, stop by or check them out online. It is valued at $69.99. It is, again, the Texas A&M Champion Power Blend Pocketless Quarter Zip Pullover valued at $69.99.
Listen in to the Louie Bellina Show, weekdays from 11 to 2 here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
'Tis time once again to set thy spirit free. Join Bud Light in a toast to the 47th Texas Renaissance Festival. Huzzah! Open weekends in October and November, beginning October 9th. A land of magic and merriment, chivalry and romance, artisans and wares from distant lands, deliciously enticing food, games of skill and chance, plus the finest actors and musicians in the realm. The King and Queen await your arrival. Tickets available now at TexRenFest.com. Opens October 9th.
Maroon U is your ultimate stop for brand name apparel, gifts, and accessories for the entire family. From Columbia, 47 brand, Yeti, Dooney & Burke, and Adidas. We're able to outfit you for every occasion. Visit Maroon U and our family of companies on Holloman Drive in College Station to shop the latest in brand name Aggie merchandise. Shop Maroon U today. Voted best in the Brazos, best gift shop since 2016. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U.
Save Our Streets Ministries is celebrating its 20th annual banquet Rise on Tuesday, October 5th at 6:30. Sponsored by Galleria Spa Salon Boutique and KBTX Media. SOS has invested in lives to rescue, restore, and release families from drug and gang-infested environments where abuse, poverty, and violence are a way of life.
We're in our critical hour, but our finest hour. I just don't want to read about great exploits. I want to be one. Church of the Living God, it's time for us to rise.
Visit SaveOurStreetsMinistries.org/rise and help us save our streets.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around, and every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect, in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
This is Jerome from Birmingham, previously from Paul Feinbaum Show.
I-Man is up next.
We are talking about a man who, better hitter Jeff Williams, walked on the fairway with Jack Nicklaus.
Did he not walk on the moon with Neil Armstrong?
Neil stole his thunder. They just didn't show Jim first.
Jim was first, Neil, then Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz would have whooped his ass on the moon.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on The Zone.
Hey guys, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. If you're in the market for an engagement ring, wedding band, or stackable anniversary ring, save the date for David Gardner's Ring In Season promotion, October 13th through the 16th. David Gardner's going to have an extended selection of diamonds, engagement rings, wedding bands, and more. Don't miss an opportunity to swing by while they have the largest selection of the year at the best prices. You can schedule an appointment. Go to davidgardnersjewelers.com, click the engagement tab, and scroll to the very bottom. You're going to love it, what you see there. We are here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. As a reminder, we will be doing our show from there next week, next Friday. We'll have more details on all the festivities out there and how you can help out here shortly. We talked about it in the 8 o'clock hour as well. So hopefully you guys can come out and enjoy time with us. As I mentioned, we every week we do the Up to the Second college football show. It's complimentary to what we do on TexAgs, just an extra piece of content for you to enjoy. You can hear it on all the podcast channels out there, Spotify, iTunes, you name it, Google. It's everywhere. And YouTube is also the place where you can see it as well, and on the TexAgs message boards as well. And this week, a lot of games to break down, right? You've got the Arkansas-Georgia game, Alabama-Ole Miss. How does A&M respond against Mississippi State? We had Connor O'Gara on the program from Saturday Down South, and here's a little bit of what you can catch on that show. Hopefully you'll subscribe and go check it out. Here's Connor O'Gara on Up to the Second College Football. All right, let's get it cracking with Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. So much to get into here in the world of college football, and I guess everyone wants to know your thoughts on the big game, UConn-Vandy. I'm kidding.
Wait. I talked about this a lot on Saturday Down South podcast. It is like a Hallmark movie that how this is going to end. You know 5 minutes in that this is an opportunity for the next hour and a half or whatever 94 minutes that Hallmark movie runs, that you just get to turn off your brain and you just get to enjoy this, because those teams are so epically bad that it's almost so bad it's good. You need to consume this game regardless of the fact that we have like the best slate in SEC play in 5 years. It's also because of UConn and Vandy.
Absolutely. I had to ask you because I knew you would have a good response for there. But let's start off with the big one, Ole Miss, Alabama. Does Ole Miss have enough defense? We know they have the offense. Do they have enough defense to slow down a younger Alabama team?
They have more defense than they had last year. There's no doubt about it. Chance Campbell, the Maryland transfer, has been huge for that group. They look more comfortable in DJ Durkin's defense. They're not going to get run over the same way that they did last year. And part of that is because Alabama just doesn't have the chunk play ability that it had with Mac Jones at quarterback, with Jalen Waddle, with Devontae Smith. Do they get enough stops to win, though? No, I don't think they do. I think this is more like Bama 45-38. The over should hit in this one. I know the over-under 79.5 in this game, which is just outrageous. I don't think that Ole Miss is able to quite get those stops that they need, that game-changing play, an interception, to be able to flip the field, and all of a sudden Ole Miss takes a lead, and you got this Alabama crowd kind of wondering, oh, man, is this about to happen? Is Saban about to lose to a disciple for the first time? I think Ole Miss keeps it close. I'm surprised that spread is 14.5, but I can't imagine a scenario in which Ole Miss defense really shuts down Alabama. Alabama gets enough points to be able to win this one.
All right, so how good has Matt Corral been this year? And, I mean, where is he in your Heisman race, per se?
Numero uno.
Yeah.
He is that guy right now. He is playing the position better than anyone in college football, and it's not close. I look at the things that he gives you from a skill set standpoint and why he's been so difficult to defend. It's because he is so tough. He can call his own number, and he's not afraid to get hit. He welcomes contact, despite the fact that he's a little bit undersized for what we typically think of as a quarterback in the SEC. But he can stretch the field so unbelievably well. And with the way that Dontario Drummond is playing, gosh, I mean, this Ole Miss offense with Matt Corral leading it looks so much better than last year, because last year he couldn't play against drop 8 coverage. That was his big hang up. Arkansas figured that out. And Arkansas is like, hey, we're going to be able to just intercept you all day. He had those 2 ugly games. But really, since then, and what he's done to learn drop 8 coverage and how to read it, how to be patient, and how not to force things, man, the kid is absolutely special. It blew me away that there wasn't first-round buzz on him coming into this year. There should be now. And if Alabama fans are thinking that this kid isn't capable of lighting it up, man, they got another thing coming.
So you brought up Arkansas there. They're a team that people doubt, yet keeps coming up and really defeating the moment. The way they played Texas, the way they played A&M, they came out and they seized that moment, I should say. So what do you say about their chances there in Athens against, I think, maybe the best team in college football in Georgia?
I agree with you that Georgia is the best team in college football. And I think that Arkansas, what it has done so well and what they did last week against A&M, when they play with a lead, man, they are tough to beat because that's what allows that ground game to really get going. And when their defense can kind of pin their ears back and get into some of these obvious passing situations, they are darn good with Barry Odom. I don't think that happens on the road against Georgia. I think Georgia gets off to a really fast start, like a 14-0 type of start in this game. And Arkansas kind of, before it even knows what hit them, is facing a deficit against a really good Georgia team that is just too big to come back from. And I think they're going to have good moments in this game. I think that ground game, even with KJ Jefferson a bit banged up with the knee, should still be able to get more yards than what we typically see against a Georgia defense. But for 4 quarters, that's a different ball game. And I think that Arkansas can cover a very big spread. I'm surprised the spread is as big as it is for that one as well. But I think Georgia's kind of able to keep them at an arm's length and win something like a 28-14 type of game.
Connor, you made some noise here, at least in the A&M community, when you picked Arkansas weeks back when Haynes was still the quarterback. Let me ask you this, because now expectations have changed with all the injuries. They've had more than just Haynes King as an injury. They've had a lot of guys gone. Are they just an average offense away from being on the cusp of elite, or no? Because they have no offense right now, like zero.
That's a good way to spin it. I like that. 2 touchdowns in 2 games against Power 5 opponents. They're not even close to average yet. And they could be, yes, because quite frankly, I kind of think Arkansas is somewhat average offensively. You know, their ground game is excellent. They can get the occasional chunk play in the passing game, but are they world beaters? Are they going to put up 50 in a given day? No, that's not necessarily their skill set. You're probably right. The offense is obviously holding them back. It's not even close. The inefficiency in the passing game has just been a killer. I mean, so many of these drives where it's 3rd and 8, you know they're not converting. And that's a problem. I was baffled at the lack of run game that they had. I thought, obviously, and you guys have probably talked about this a ton, but Isaiah Spiller not getting a carry after he has the 67-yard touchdown, just inexcusable. Jimbo Fisher has to be better. It's as simple as that. And Zach Calzada has to be better. Don't get it twisted. This is obviously players got to play. Coaches got to be able to put guys in the right spots. And I question if he's really being put in the right spots. I know they have the injuries up front, and I know that their offensive line has been a work in progress, but they've got to be able to get him some more favorable looks. They've got to be able to figure out the ground game a little bit, scheme better there. They are a really, really tough team to see scoring 30 points on a weekly basis in SEC play right now.
All right, let's talk about Notre Dame and Oklahoma, 2 teams that are still undefeated. Obviously, they're not playing each other, but just, I guess, how good are they really, knowing that they've been surviving so far, yet here they are maybe finding their swag?
Well, Notre Dame's swag is about to end this week when they lose to Cincinnati, and then Cincinnati controls its destiny to a college football playoff spot. So I think the swag is going to die a little bit. I don't think Jet Cohn's that good. I'll just come on and say it. I watched a lot of him at Wisconsin, and I'm not really sold on him as the guy who's going to take them to the next level. Is he an upgrade over Ian Book? No, he's just not. Irish defense has been remarkable with Marcus Freeman. He's really done some good things there, the first-year defensive coordinator from Cincinnati. But I have long-term questions about that passing game and if they're really going to be elite. And then Oklahoma, man, anybody can play with Oklahoma. It used to be a thing where Oklahoma would just kind of breeze into November, and they'd have maybe that one game where they play at Kansas State or maybe at Texas, and they'd have that hiccup maybe against Iowa State. But then the rest of the games, they would look like world beaters. And then we would kind of slowly talk ourselves into Oklahoma and whatever their starting quarterback was. We'd be like, all right, maybe this is the year. It just isn't the case. And Spencer Rattler was overrated coming into the year, but now you're sort of seeing that play out where he just looks rattled, part of the pun there, way too much. And it looks like an offense that's too complicated. They're not really stretching the field. Mike Woods, the Arkansas transfer, was supposed to be able to do that for him. He hasn't been featured as much in that offense. So Oklahoma's just not that good of a football team right now. And they have a lot of issues to figure out. I don't really think that they're finding their groove, so to speak. They are lucky to survive. But, man, I had them with a playoff projection, and I'm sort of questioning that at this point.
All right, how about Oregon, a team that just has looked really good? I don't know what to believe in the Pac-12 anymore. One week I think they're terrible. Then I see a bunch of teams winning. Now they got Stanford coming up. How good is Oregon?
Oregon's legit, really legit. And anybody who's ever listened to me on any sort of public airwaves has probably heard me speak highly about Joe Moorhead. That's my ride or die. That's my guy. The offensive coordinator for Oregon has done really, really good things there with Anthony Brown, with CJ Verdell, the tailback who's been in college seemingly forever. And I think Mario Cristobal is fantastic at his job. And that's what this comes down to. They've recruited extremely well up there. They've been able to kind of separate themselves from the Pac-12. I know Ohio State has its issues defensively. They're a train wreck on that side of the ball right now. But the way that they went in there and really imposed their will, that was a statement. that was a statement much like what we saw in 2017, where Oklahoma went in there with Baker Mayfield. They plant the flag there, and then they go on to have this great season where they end up losing to Georgia in double overtime in the Rose Bowl. But that's kind of what it felt like for Oregon. You can't really pick against them to go to the playoff at this point. About as favorable of a path as you can ask for with the Pac-12 and the way that it's played out. I think Oregon's for real. I don't think they're going to win a national championship, but I think they're going to get to the playoff, and I think they're capable of staying on the field with one of these elite teams.
All right, Connor, let's end it with the ACC. Who's the freaking best team in the ACC? I'm having a hard time seeing anybody. Wake Forest right now is the top of it.
Mississippi State is the best team in the ACC, and A&M is facing Mississippi State this weekend, so A&M might be the best team in the ACC. It's that kind of year, man. Like, it is terrible in the ACC because I came into this season saying I think Sam Howell's the best quarterback in college football. It's been a rough go. He has really missed his skill players on the outside in that backfield that they had with Carter and Williams. They just have not been the same sort of team this year, so you can kind of throw that one out the window. Clemson, who I picked to win the national championship, I'm just going to go run and hide with that one. It's been terrible. The ACC is just a train wreck. It does kind of look like Wake Forest is maybe the best. Maybe Virginia. Brennan Armstrong is playing extraordinarily well. He's the highest graded quarterback from Pro Football Focus right now. So I don't know. I think that conference is just loaded with mediocrity this year. It's just going to be one of those years where you don't really know who the best is. And when the ACC championship happens in Charlotte, everybody will be kind of like how we treat the Pac-12 championship. Cool, that happened. I don't really take anything away from it.
Connor, man, thanks so much as always.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
All right, Connor O'Gara there on Up to the Second College Football. Hopefully you'll check it out. And I got to tell you guys, our YouTube page, like, people are just interesting that come from other fan bases and like they like the troll. It's funny. What they don't realize is it's helping our analytics. So thanks very much for doing that. And my thanks to Dalton's uncle, who's been listening to the show, is a big fan of what we do. Forgot his name. What was it? Is it David? I think it's David from Miami. Big fan of what we're doing here on the show. So I appreciate you guys watching what we do. When we come back, Aaron Torres is going to break things down from Fox Sports and Aaron Torres Online. We'll talk all about the Aggies and beyond here in college football.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Brazos Valley African American Museum announces the 500 Giving Campaign to raise funds for a museum director. Be one of the 500 by going online to bvaam.org. Brazos Valley veterans are invited to a free fly fishing workshop on Saturday. Find more information at goodfly.org. The Bryan High Fine Arts Department presents These Shining Lives. Performances run through Saturday. Purchase tickets online at bryanhightheater.ludus.com.